Hey, hey Libra, Mel, intuitive coach here, excited to bring in your November 2025 monthly reading. All right, let's open up your energy field and take a look at what the month ahead has in store for you. Now, Libra, your second house of money, self-worth, and stability is coming into play for you in November. You are being asked to redefine what security truly means, both materially and emotionally. Scorpio's transformative energy is encouraging you to take a deeper look at your relationship with money, with your own self-esteem, and energetic exchanges. So financially, there may be new income streams this month. Many of you are budgeting differently, and you're being asked to release fears around scarcity here. Now, you have the Tower showing up with the Emperor, so there's definitely change coming through for you this month. Key themes that are showing up, you have flexibility, and that is so important when the Tower is here. Many of you are awakening to a higher truth. You are reassessing what and who feels truly worth your time and energy. And for many of you, your self-worth is being addressed this month. You're realizing that you are earning power when you honor your gifts, when you honor your boundaries. And because Scorpio season is helping you magnetize abundance through emotional alignment, not control with that Emperor, you're going to see that your manifestations happen quite quickly. And that could also be why the Tower is here for you. But we are going to dive in. We'll clarify each area of your life. Now, I also see the Three of Swords here. So Libra, some of you have been going through a heartache, a disappointment, or maybe something that has shocked you. But I feel like this is waking you up. There's transformation taking place here, and you are releasing this sense of control, this sense of things have to be done a certain way if you have struggled with that. But you do have divine guidance at the bottom of the deck, and this talks about miracles, answered prayers. So it almost feels like many of you are going through a situation that it feels heavy, but yeah, you have the Warrior. I was trying to find the words here to say that even though there's challenges, perhaps even ahead, you are coming through this stronger, and it actually enlightens you to really step into the version of you that you have been wanting to embrace, but sometimes too scared to fully say yes to. Now, your key themes for the month include flexibility. This is about divine detours, and with this Tower showing up in your reading, there is definitely a change coming in. This is about adapting to this new way of living, this new energetic exchange that's happening. And for some of you, this is a new income source or a new person in your life because you have the Emperor here. I feel like you are in control of your thoughts, your feelings, your manifestations, but anything that is outside of your control, you're trying not to focus your energy and attention towards it. There is expansion showing up here. That's why the Tower is coming through, because you are meant to expand, and it can be scary expanding consciousness because then we have to face the unknown, and the unknown, there's uncertainty, right? And so this is about you going with the flow. Something is moving along here quite quickly for many of you, and you're being asked to stay in tune with your body. This month is about anchoring your confidence in truth, right? Not comparing, because I see the Five of Swords here as well. And this can be an ego-centered energy. So Spirit is saying, try not to compare, try not to control, or get lost in the ego trap, whether that's your own ego or the ego battle between you and another. Flexibility allows you to rise above here, go with with the flow of something that may be a bit out of your control, but I actually feel like it's opening up a new door, a new opportunity for you. So it feels like this Tower is actually in your favor. Now, towers are not good or bad, right? Towers are here to bring in change. So Libra, if you have been wanting change, this is the month that something deep within you flows out into the outer world and becomes activated, because you also have the Page of Pentacles here. So the Page of Pentacles is some sort of news that may be quite shocking, but it awakens you to the next level of consciousness. You have the Phoenix rising here. This is about you reclaiming your own sovereignty, reclaiming your own power here, and having autonomy over your life, your career, your relationships. And for many of you, you have gone through some level of awakening here with the Tower, and it feels like now you're rising above. You have the butterfly. And it always reminds me of the caterpillar and the butterfly, where you may have felt like you've been in that cocoon process as you're going through personal transformation. And now it's time to spread your wings. This change is happening. It's finally here for you. And there's a feeling of perhaps nostalgia at times, or there's a feeling of what if this isn't the right direction? But I feel like that's just the fears that are bubbling up. You're going to push through those fears, and you have creativity coming through as one of your key themes this month. So this is about your self-worth as well. And when you know your self-worth, you naturally attract what reflects it. All right. And that's where that magnetized energy comes in. So again, when you know your worth, you naturally attract what reflects it. And that means, Libra, that there may be certain changes, certain endings, but beginnings that are opening up for you, some new doors, new opportunities, especially around your income and career and finances. Now, you may be getting quite creative about what you spend your time and energy on, what truly fills your cup. And I see that your cup has been empty in the past with that Three of Swords, or you may have felt like you were giving a lot of yourself, but you weren't receiving anything in return, or it wasn't reciprocal. And you are someone who's highly creative, highly artistic. You have these abilities, and you are being guided to express yourself this month and to trust that inner voice that is connecting with you at all times. But sometimes when fear is loud, that inner voice gets shoved down. And I see that you have these new ideas. You may even be awakened to something quite profound within your career, within your business, or within any area of your life. But again, because your second house is highlighted, it feels like this has to do with your stability, your possessions, something in your pentacle realm. And for many of you, this is also about your health. You're getting creative here around health, and you may be taking a look at what creates a sense of stability within your body, within your nervous system. So this might be a wonderful month to try out an alternative practice or a method that could bring your nervous system joy and peace, instead of feeling like you are walking on eggshells, or instead of feeling like you are stuck in that Three of Swords or Tower. So really, there's a powerful shakeup for you, but I feel like it awakens you to a higher truth. Yeah, this is really redefining, this Tower coming in is redefining what security truly means for you. And it certainly is showing up not only in your material world, but also emotionally with that Three of Swords. But bottom of the deck, because we have divine guidance here, this tells me that you are protected. You are protected and divinely directed here. This is the energy of angelic support. There's safety, there is security, and I feel for many of you, this is connecting deeper to your own higher self, your own spiritual team. Many of you are brushing up against this energy this month where you are witnessing miracles. This is spiritual strength. And perhaps that was the word I was trying to find when the warrior archetype came out, because it feels like there's this strength within you. When you see in the movies, or I mean, it's not just in the movies, it's called that hyper adrenaline rush where people can lift vehicles and people can really use their strength in ways that are just unheard of. It almost feels like for many of you, you are tapping into this inner strength. Now, of course, it doesn't mean that you're out there lifting vehicles or anything of that nature, but it feels like your strength is coming in and you're realizing this month how strong you are, but it's not through the ego, it's through strength of divine support. And there is assistance coming through here. There may be help. You may be even helping another through something that may have flipped their lives around, and you could be the one that is bringing in divine guidance for another. But because, again, this is here, it tells me that regardless of what happens in the world, what's happening in your personal life, whatever this tower is, it's actually destroying old structures for this new beginning, this page of pentacles to be born. So expect some sort of message or news, opportunity. I feel like there's a blessing. I do feel like there is a blessing here, a prayer that is being answered. And sometimes our prayers are answered in ways that are unexpected. It reminds me of that song. Sometimes God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. And it feels like there is a blessing or miracle lined up that you don't see coming, or that is unexpected in some way for you. Now let's dive into the tarot. You have the Emperor showing up. Now the Emperor here is about divine order. It is about you getting organized and taking control of what's within your control here. Now, the Emperor can be higher authority here. This could be a boss-like energy. If you are the CEO of your own company or a boss here, an entrepreneur, I feel like there are some big changes coming through. If you are working in the corporate world, there certainly could be some higher up adjustments that are taking place here. There could even be some changes with a divine masculine in your life, perhaps a father figure. I see that some of you, if your father is no longer here in the spirit world, there certainly could be a divine gift that comes through where you know without a doubt that this is your father coming through, right? And it could be through angelic guidance here. Some of you, you're going to see a rainbow. I am getting a rainbow energy here. You could even connect to feathers, winged creatures, pennies. I'm also getting here someone collected coins. Maybe someone's a coin collector, or someone that's no longer in spirit used to collect coins. And I see that you are definitely receiving signs and symbols this month that you are protected, that you are on the right track, that you are being taken care of, and you are seen. You're not alone. And that's a really beautiful message, especially for those of you that have been going through some sort of heartache or difficulty, or if this does arise for you this month, you will receive a sign almost instantaneously that tells me you know that everything is going to be okay. Like there's this protective aura over you. And we have, of course, the Emperor coming through, but what I'm getting here is divine order. That's why the Tower is showing up as well, because there's a shakeup that's happening, but it's actually to help ascend you, help awaken you to this higher truth, to this spiritual enlightenment. Now, we have the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is a powerful energy of a wish, a wish granted, right? It is about feeling content, feeling emotionally fulfilled after a period of a lot of self-reflection, Libra. That Tower and that Three of Swords tells me that you have been going through the healing. You've been going through the highs and the lows of certain experiences or circumstances that have left you feeling at times like your confidence has been kicked, right? Or that you have felt isolated or alone. And that's why this transformation is occurring, especially when it comes to your self-value. And you're realizing not only are you worthy of these great things, because the Nine of Cups is an energy of feeling satisfied, of feeling peace and contentment and accomplishment. You have come a long way on your journey. And it just feels like the Tower here. Now, I'm not dismissing the energy and the power of the Tower, right? This is something huge. It's something profound, but I feel like this is liberating you. It actually feels like if you've been going through something very difficult with that Three of Swords, it feels like the new structure is opening up for you with this Page of Pentacles here. Now, you may have even dealt with someone in your life, or it could be an aspect of oneself where there were wounds, right? Maybe even childhood wounds that had someone react to life's problems or even life's joys in a certain way of maybe someone wasn't grateful. Perhaps there was arrogance. There may have been a feeling of being better than. And that may have been comparing, right? And I see that there's an energy here around you or even within you that was stuck in this Five of Swords, where perhaps people have taken advantage of you, Libra, or you had been bullied. There may have even been a time where someone was a poor sport, poor team player, and you felt like you got shoved to the wayside. You felt like you got shoved in the back corner. And this is about choosing battles, right? Choosing, what is worth fighting for, what is worth releasing. And I see that if this is a battle of what the ego can get out of a situation, it's going to be a lose-lose. And if this is a battle of spiritual awareness, if you are growing, evolving, learning, and ascending, which looks like you are, but even if another energy is not quite where you're at, I feel like that's why this Tower implodes here, because this energy is not in alignment with the healed or the ascended version of yourself. I mean, the Five of Swords can be an individual, it could be a company, it could be an organization, it could be a community, it could be a friendship, it could be anything here that is based in perhaps something unethical, based in lies, based in conceit, or just an inflated ego or even a wounded ego, because it's masked. It's masked behind all of these jewels, right? You can see that it's actually a shadow on the brick wall. And oftentimes, each and every one of us wears some sort of mask or some sort of hat. It's part of the roles. It's part of the personas that we take on. And oftentimes, we mask fear or hurt or pain, and we cover it up and we try to paint a pretty picture on it. But oftentimes it tends to not be very pretty. And you may have been dealing with someone who was wearing a mask. Now over here, we have, yes, the Three of Swords and the Tower. But before you run into that fear factor here, I want you to know that you are being opened to communicating better. And I'm getting attachment styles for some of you. Maybe you've been learning about attachment styles. For some of you, the throat chakra has been blocked or it's been closed, where you've been silenced in the past. You have been maybe told that you weren't supposed to speak up. Some of you, maybe in school, like I always had the little slips on the report card that says, Melissa talks too much. Melissa is too much, right? So there was a big part of my own beliefs that I was too much. Like I had to be silenced here. I couldn't talk. And then that tends to shut down a throat chakra. It tends to bring up the self-value, self-worth issues. Like, am I worthy enough to speak up? Do I have something to say? Am I going to be received? Am I going to be heard? And for many of you, I am getting that throat chakra activation. Now, by late November, Sagittarius season is energizing your third house of communication, helping you share your wisdom, helping you market your gifts and express yourself through this renewed sense of confidence more freely. And that's why the Tower is here, because many of you, you're being guided not to sit back here and watch something erupt. It almost feels like you are meant to share your story. You're meant to share your voice. You're meant to share your gifts. So the Tower coming in, I'm actually going to pull a couple of cards from a different deck, because it looks like there could be some honest assessments with this Page of Pentacles coming through. And the Page of Pentacles tells me that you've been investing a lot into yourself, into learning new skills, into training. Many of you are investing in your career, in your finances, your money, your self-worth. And I feel like there is a payoff, but at the same time, there are some fears wrapped around that Three of Swords that you're trying to move away from. So I'm just going to pull a couple of cards here. A couple of cards for the Tower. Spirit, can we please clarify the Tower with that Three of Swords? We have death. Okay, so this is profound. Remember that rebirth here? There is an ending coming through here, because a new door is begging to be opened. So again, if things have been stagnant, if you have been praying, asking the universe for a miracle, asking for a blessing, an opportunity, a change, whatever this is here in your life, Libra, this is the month where it comes through. Spirit, tell me about this new opportunity, please. The Moon. Okay, you are being guided to trust your intuition here, even though the way ahead may be a little bit foggy. That's why I mentioned in the very beginning of your reading, intuition is important. You have the Ten of Wands. All right, this is powerful here. When you have the Death, this is that rebirth. This is that reclamation here. The awakening. I mean, the phoenix rising literally reminds me of the death. So when the death shows up here, this is massive change. And sometimes there are things that are out of your control, but you are being guided to trust the process, because this is actually helping you unburden. You've reached the end of a cycle here. You are ready to step into the next chapter, right? And the 10 ultimately is the one with the Fool energy of the 0. So some of you are going to see growth or buds. I know here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're moving more into the colder season, more of that fall, winter energy. So some of you seeing like new growth or new buds. I mean, this could be on a house plant. This could be something that you witness online. I feel like there's growth, and that could be a sign from Spirit that you're growing through this situation, and that death is coming in and it's transforming you from the inside out. And you actually look, lilies could be significant here. Maybe someone has a lily tattoos, or perhaps you have peace lilies in your home. I am getting the strong energy of lily, and then also the butterfly, right? And we talked about that caterpillar and the butterfly, which, look at that, you have awakening, and it's right there sitting on her shoulder. And I see that there is a new version of yourself, one that is quite profound. Pay attention around the moon cycles, the new moon, I believe, in the sign of Scorpio. I think that's around, is that the 19th or the 20th? It's a very powerful new moon. We also have Mercury retrograde coming through, but it's about trusting your instincts here, trusting the intuitive knowing here, not getting lost in illusion, not being drawn into that fear-based energy. And you are able to discern what's in your highest good. And if that has been a struggle for you in the past, Libra, discernment, what is fear versus what is intuition, I feel like that moon is going to help you in some way, especially with the angelic or divine guidance. You are going to release something that you have been carrying. maybe for quite some time. It feels like there is a big opening coming through for you with this 10 of Wands. If you've come to the point where you've taken on too much, or you felt overwhelmed, or there's been exhaustion here, just be mindful as well of things that you cannot see. So for example, if you are riding your bike and the sun, let's say the sun is kind of blocking your sight, be mindful, because there can be things that sneak up on you. Maybe there is a rock right in front of you and you hit that rock. Just make sure, I feel like you are taking safety precautions, you are protected, but you want to make sure that you can see like on all sides. I hope that makes sense here, because it just feels like there may be something that kind of shows up unexpectedly, and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? And I see here with the death card, you may have even gone through a death in the past. Maybe this is the death of a loved one, but it could also be an ending of a job, and you may have been feeling quite distraught over this loss. And this is the month where, you know, you are trusting in the unknown, and the burdens that you've been carrying here open the door to this new message, this new beginning. So I know this looks quite heavy, but remember, you have the Emperor, you have the 9 of Cups here, as well as the Page of Pentacles. So divine guidance is supporting you through this transformation, through this change. And some of you may be questioning at times, you know, is this for my highest good? And the answer is yes, because it's opening you up to something greater. All right, let's look at, well, first of all, the bottom of the deck, you have the 8 of Pentacles. So labors of love. A lot of you, this is connected to perhaps your finances. Some of you may even be shuffling around finances here, taking a look at your budget. You could be moving things around, maybe even looking at institutions here with the Emperor. You may be taking a look at where your money is growing. You may be looking at your accounts, long-term accounts here. And because death is showing up, some of you may even be looking into like end of life planning for yourself or for family members. This could be wills, it could be power of attorney, it could be estates, things of that nature. But I also feel here for you with the 8 of Pentacles, Libra, you are well on your way towards success here. The labors of love is showing up here, which means you are being guided to move in a direction where you can dedicate yourself to something that you love. You are manifesting this in the physical realm, and you're a warrior. There's nothing you cannot get through. You have made it through 100% of the struggles or the challenges that you have faced today. And I see financially, you are securing something that is bringing in longevity, something that may be long term. And it may have taken a long time for you to get to this level, to get to this point in your life. And some of you are like, Mel, I have to start over. There is a crack in the foundation, and you know, this is disappointing. I don't know what to do from here. There may be a lot of fear around your material world, but that's where self-worth comes in. And I really feel, Libra, like this 3 of Swords really does have to do with the self-worth piece. It may have to do with you feeling at times less than or too much or not enough or rejected, abandoned, disappointed. You know, everything that we tend to start telling ourselves after we've gone through a period of difficulty. And those are lies, right? Those are illusions. They're not true. And that's what you may be breaking out of. And it could be one of the most biggest epiphanies of your life that actually steers your career, steers your relationships, or steers your health in a direction that really aligns you with love. Right behind it, you have the 2 of Cups. Really aligns you. Law of attraction, divine feminine, divine masculine, balancing, blending. That's what you are all about, Libra, is creating that harmony in your life. But that doesn't mean that there's never going to be an off note, right, in the rhythm and the frequency of your life, but it means that there's a fine tweaking happening, and that's what I see here for you. Now let's look at career, finances, money, wealth. Actually, before we dive into that, I just want to take a quick look at health energetically and how this can manifest in the physical, because we are energetic beings, right? Having this human experience. When the Emperor shows up, this could be a quick, it can be an injury. And I don't want to deliver this news, but because the Tower is here, some of you, there could be, and this may be what I was mentioning earlier, where something out of the blue, it like strikes you, but it feels like you will be okay from it. Okay, it may shift everything. I'm getting some of you, it could even be like an old injury. Maybe it's a sports injury. It could even be that some of you may have been I'm getting like Army vets. Some of you may be veterans as well, or perhaps you are in the military. Or there is a connection here to maybe some sort of old injury, maybe even post-traumatic stress. But this is about sharp objects as well. So be mindful. For those of you that may use knives, or for those of you that may enjoy cooking, you could end up with some sort of burn or some sort of a cut if you're rushing, right? If you're not careful. So make sure that you are slowing down this month. You don't want to have any unexpected pain that is showing up here. Now, the Emperor can represent any issues with the crown chakra, the head, the face, the blood, the muscles. Many of you are guided to start an exercise regime that's going to get your blood pumping and maybe strengthen your core a bit. And the Emperor, this can also be about maturing. And some of you are taking a look at your maturing body, and you may be guided to take better care of yourself. So a health catastrophe doesn't happen, or maybe it has happened in the past, or it's something that is alerting you this month and you're saying, okay, what do I need to do to become stronger? What do I need to do? Maybe this is the month where I quit smoking, or I quit drinking, or, I start to eat healthier, or I start to exercise more, because there certainly could be a health scare, right? There could be a health scare, but again, because we have divine guidance here, you are being directed to transform your life in some way. Now with the Tower, this could be an onset of symptoms here. It can be like a confrontation, especially with that Five of Swords. So be mindful if you are dealing with someone who is unhealthy or mentally unstable. There could be a burst of like an argument, or there could even be like a shock factor that comes through with someone's behavior. Just keep that in mind. You don't want to have to this is way on the left field here, but you don't want to have to get like a restraining order. So I do see boundaries are important here. And some of you may even have cameras. You may have cameras. This isn't saying rush out and go get cameras, but it almost feels like for some of you, there could even be some sort of theft, or like a break-in, like maybe someone breaks into a vehicle, something of that nature. But I feel like you're not harmed. All right, you're not harmed, and there could even be like a police report, or there may be that person, I feel like they do get caught, or they're on camera, or something does come up with that. But it feels like, again, you're protected, your family is protected, because I feel like even if there is something that is challenging, now don't shut off the video and say, Mel, I'm never watching your videos again. This is a heavy one. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is a heavy one, but again, it feels like the changes here are actually allowing you to really appreciate life in a deeper, more meaningful way, Libra. And you'll know this to be true either this month or in the near future. Now, when the Tower shows up as health, it can also be the onset of perhaps menopause symptoms. Some of you, it can be perimenopause, or if you've already gone through this, it feels like there are also some intense emotional reactions that may be showing up around you that you could be working through. I'm getting TRE, which is trauma response exercises. So for those of you who have had a struggle, or if you've gone through a loss in the past even, it feels like you are working on shaking up that nervous system in a way where you're not constantly in survival mode, that you are actually able to thrive and survive in a way that feels heightened, right? Remember, you have awakening here. You have creativity. You have flexibility. This is a month where change is inevitable. No matter what, change is coming. And I feel like this change is for the better because that Nine of Cups is here, which tells me there's something emotionally rewarding at the end of all of this. And you have the Eight of Pentacles, which is labors of love. And you may even hear news. All right, again, I don't want to keep delivering some of these shock factors, but because you may not be the one that is directly affected, but you certainly could be in the presence of some sort of shock, you may hear news of maybe someone that you went to school with or someone around you. You may hear news of something challenging that they could be going through as well. All right. So when it comes to career, there is a new income source, a new opportunity, or a connection with a higher authority figure here that you are getting honest about, and you're having honest conversations, and it looks like there is a new beginning with the eggs. Now, it may feel fragile because eggs are fragile, Libra, but it feels like you are not settling for less than you deserve because one, your worth is powerful at this time. You want there to be flexibility and fluidity within how you deliver your creativity here, how you deliver, your messages, your inventions. Some of you have new ideas. You are discovering new talents here. You are an artist at heart, and this could be the month of a launch. Some of you are putting something new out into the world, and there could be a lot of fears around it, right? The Tower is shaking up your whole world, but I feel like you are pushing through those fears, and you are not letting that wounded ego get in the way of your greatest success. And that's why the Eight of Pentacles is here. So let's look at finances again and career. You have the Crown. This is about you overcoming obstacles. I love it. There may be power plays. That's the Five of Swords, right? Struggles here when it comes to maybe someone of higher authority, or again, if you are your own owner or boss, this is the month where you're taking charge. You're making progress here because that foundation, that fault line is separating. Now, there could even be some sort of weather pattern or natural disaster, something of that nature that has affected those around you. And if you are in the field of healing, you may be working with people who have been heavily affected by a challenge. Okay, that's coming through here as well. But because again, the Crown is here, this is connected to that Emperor energy. You're overcoming these obstacles here. You are going to take charge of whatever situations are coming up here in November. And I see that you have the tools that you need. This is about living well, Libra. You want to live a life that feels good, that feels aligned, that feels like you're taken care of financially, emotionally, spiritually. And many of you, you could be the sole provider of your family, or this is about more abundance coming through here for you. It could be through more work. It could be a new income source here, but I do see that the tools are being provided and you're overcoming these obstacles here. Now you have the past showing up. So for a lot of you, this Tower, this Three of Swords is based in something of the past. It may not be something new that shows up for you in the month of November. It feels like it's already out here in the open. So many of you already know what this is. You're already knowing that the change is something you've been wanting, and change is scary. That's why we watch these tarot videos. That's why, we go to psychics and readers and healers, because we want to feel an ounce of stability around what's coming. And when the moon is showing up here, which it is, some of you may not fully be prepared for some of these changes, but that's okay. It doesn't mean that they're not meant for you. And for a lot of you, something from the past is coming back. This could be an old job. It could be an unfinished project. Look to the past to understand the future, a lesson, an experience, or an old skill. You could be earning or receiving money from something you did in the past. This may have to do with an inheritance. It may have to do with some sort of settlement. Some of you, it could be like back pay. If you were connected to maybe the government shutdown here with the emperor, that can certainly be governmenting factors or forces. There certainly could be income coming in here for you. There could be a lot of movement here after feeling the tower, the harshness of that tower at times. But it actually feels, as I've been mentioning, like it's connected to a message, some sort of message that comes in. And I feel like the message is connected to divine guidance. The message is connected to some sort of miracle, assistance, strength, and answered prayers. So financially, the Page of Pentacles tells me that you're starting to get creative about your finances, getting organized, maybe budgeting, shifting things around. You may be taking a look at where your energy is being drained based on people, places, or items or material things that really don't serve you. And I see that you may be paying down towards something that it came in. Maybe this is a medical bill for some of you with that Three of Swords, or it could be that there had been an unexpected break of like a washer or a dryer or an appliance in your home or in your business. And it feels like that could be something you may be paying towards or paying off or contributing to some of these budget changes coming through. And because we have flexibility here, and expansion. Now, this is, again, what I want to remind you because it does feel heavy, right? I'm not going to sugarcoat it and change the Tower or the Three of Swords into something they're not. It can feel like a heavier energy, but because we have these words, these energies of expansion, of, reclaiming power, of inspiration, of divine guidance, right? You are overcoming obstacles, Libra. You are the warrior. Let's look here at your relationships, family, love. You've gone through a period, Libra, where you've been cut down. Maybe you've been cut down from an ex, a spouse, a mother, father, family member, someone in your life that you may have separated your energy from. This could be a karmic relationship where you were guided to stop the pattern. And maybe that's what's occurring here this month is if you are currently in this dynamic and it has been low vibe, it's been unhealthy, or it's been ego-based. This could be a Tower month where there is a separation. There is a pattern here that is being stopped. And it feels like it's quick. It could be onset. It could be sudden. And I see that you are being guided to protect your peace, to protect what you are creating within. Remember that stability that is showing up here? You know your worth. And you are magnetizing abundance through getting aligned emotionally. It's not through dominance. It's not through power struggles, power plays, or control. It feels like you are saying, what do I need in this moment? And how can I be of service where I'm not feeling drained, where I'm not feeling depleted? Because that's part of your worth, Libra. Next, you have seduction. There certainly could be something that feels quite tempting, but because third party is here, some of you may have been affected by infidelity. This could be someone else outside of a relationship may have interfered. Now, it doesn't have to just be romantic. It doesn't have to be cheating, but it could be that you felt singled out by siblings or by family members where you were the black sheep in some way. Perhaps you felt like you were on the outside here looking in, and you may have been tempted to let that ego really speak up. Maybe you did, or maybe someone else around you spoke up and it caused a Tower moment here. This is about not letting the illusions of the moon get the best of you. And sometimes that's easier said than done. And even if it does get the best of you, forgive yourself, because we, after all, are having this human experience. So I do see that for those of you that are wanting to connect, wanting to open yourself up, if you've been hurt deeply in the past, you might be dipping your toes in the water, and you may be tempted here to open up that heart to something that it feels like pleasure. It feels like joy. And that may feel uncertain for you because you don't want to be hurt like you were in the past. But Spirit is saying here, trust, right? Trust that not everything is going to fall apart in the ways that it did in the past. Now you have clock here. Tick-tock. Some of you feel like you've been waiting a lifetime. Some of you feel like you've been waiting weeks, months, years, decades for love or relationships or family to transform here. You needed time. And some of you are like, Mel, I've taken a lot of time here. Now I'm ready for partnerships, or perhaps you are needing a time out between you and another individual. And that could be that Tower here. This is about healing, but it says progression, right? Progression. And that is a theme of your reading this month is you are being enlightened. You are expanding consciousness. You are progressing here. You are growing. You are overcoming obstacles. So I have a feeling this month for you may be one of those profound months where you look back on and you say, wow, I am who I am because of the changes that were initiated in the month of November. And it feels like you're proud of yourself. It feels like that warrior within you is coming alive. Instead of feeling like a martyr or a victim of circumstances, you're rising up and saying, I am a survivor. And maybe some of you are. You could be cancer survivors. Some of you have had a brush with death. For others of you, perhaps you've lost a loved one and it has derailed you. But instead of joining the pits of hell and living in suffocation, living in misery, I feel like you are living out the best of your life that you possibly can without letting the past drag you down. That's a big message that's coming through here for you. Now, you have forgiveness. This is a message from your higher self, Libra. Who do you need to forgive, right? Is it yourself? Is it another individual? We are all doing the best that we can with the knowledge we know. By forgiving, we set ourselves free from the past. It feels like you're moving on from that Three of Swords. What was the gift that came from the past experience? How did you grow from it? Write it down, then bless it, then release it. And if you're currently going through this challenge as we speak, I want you to start working through, if it resonates, write things down, work through the emotions that are coming up, because this is about flexibility. Move the body, do some yoga, expand your consciousness. Don't resist the changes that are coming through because they're here for you. They're happening for you, not to you, for you. It says, my life is unfolding for me. I am not defined by my past. I forgive myself and others. I set myself and them free. Wow. It feels like that's this Five of Swords in your life. That's this Five of Swords. Is this Five of Swords you? Is it someone in your life that has hurt you deeply? I feel like this is the awakening, right? This is the liberation. This is the freedom. And lastly, Libra, we have the Warrior. So I'm going to find this in the guidebook. One moment. All right, Libra. So I wanted to let you know, as I was looking for the Warrior in the guidebook, I came across the Destroyer. And Spirit wanted to make it clear that this tower isn't a destroyer. You're actually being guided to embody the warrior. And this is what the warrior means. The warrior is the samurai. Have you ever seen the movie The Last Samurai? It's one of my favorite movies with Tom Cruise, and he ends up connecting with the other side because he chooses integrity. He chooses integrity over the lies, over the ego. And that's what you're doing here. You're choosing to stand and advocate. This is the soldier. We often envision the warrior as an armored figure with sword in hand, moving blindly toward battle. Yet the deeper aspects of this archetype bring us face to face with death itself. The warrior stands precariously at the edge of life and death, trusting the eternal to guide the sword's blade. The warrior's work requires presence, alignment, and purpose. And I mentioned presence earlier. Remember I said riding a bike and, the sun is blaring in and you can't quite see what's in front of you. Be mindful, be present of your surroundings here. Be present of your energies. Be present of those around you. The warrior's work requires presence, alignment, and purpose. If and when the warrior loses its center, meaningless confrontations and violence are their default response. Five of Swords, right? When this card appears, it is important to question the battle at hand. It is likely a great one with deep roots and long-lasting tensions. The actions you take will stay with you long after the dust settles. So choose wisely, brave one. As you draw your sword, realign with the eternal wisdom within, then surrender to the battle. Whew, I have goosebumps right now. This is powerful. This is fierce clarity, purposeful action, resolve, and resistance. When it's showing up as the light aspect, when it's showing up as the dark, it's threats, it's savagery, abandoning mission and values. And we spoke of this as well in your reading. Now, if you want to go deeper, I love this. Check out the Tao Te Ching, which is one of my favorites. Chapter 68. All right, I'm not quite sure what that is. It's the Bhagavad Gita or Gita. So the Tao Te Ching, if you have that, for those of you that are familiar, drop it in the comment section below, chapter 68. Now, without a true purpose, manifesto, or oath, the warrior is lost. What do you stand for, Libra? What are you willing to rise in the name of? I want you to write it out. Write it in the comment section below. What do you stand for? What are you willing to rise in the name of? Be careful, as the warrior implies war. The two go hand in hand. Those who defeat others are strong. Those who defeat themselves are mighty. Powerful energy here, Libra. If you made it to the end of this, I know it's deep, but remember that you are not alone as you face these battles. We all are living in unprecedented times. Your soul chose to contract and come here on planet Earth in 2025 and beforehand, right? And I feel like you have purpose, you have mission. And it's up to you in what you do with life's challenges, because it's going to have an impact that's going to ripple out for years, for decades, for the rest of your life. And it feels like this is one of the most profound months yet. But remember, you are being divinely guided. You are a spiritual being having this human experience. You are not the entirety of that experience. That is part of your growth. That's part of your lesson. And for many of you, you are a great teacher. You are a great warrior, and you are being guided to help raise the vibration of the planet. You're here to help awaken through your creativity. So don't let low self-worth, don't let the past define you in a negative way where it keeps you stuck. This is your freedom month. This is the month where you really know your self-worth, where you know that you deserve more, whatever that may be for you, Libra. So stay flexible. Trust in these divine detours. Even if the dust hasn't quite settled yet, you have something profoundly amazing coming through here. That's why the word miracle is present. That is what I have for you, Libra. If you did take away something from this reading, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know. Drop in the comment section below how you're feeling right now. Let me know what stands out to you the most. What fears are coming to the surface, and where can you allow trust to enter your space? Trust that you are walking this path and that you are currently fulfilling your purpose, your mission here. Try not to get stuck in the comparison here of that Five of Swords. Thank you so much, Libra. If you are interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video or by visiting intuitivesoulcoach.com.